Last but not least, we have our application problem for section 2.8, number 3. A terrarium in the shape of a rectangular prism has a volume of 4,608 cubic inches. Its length is more than 10 inches. The dimensions of the terrarium in terms of its width are shown. Find the length, width, and height of the terrarium. Okay, so rectangular prism means box. Volume. Do we remember how to find the volume of a box? Length times width times height. Okay, if you forgot that, memorize it. You're responsible for it. It says its length is more than 10 inches, so whatever we find for the length, it better be more than 10. And the dimensions are shown. So the length looks like 36 minus W, the width looks like W, and the height looks like W plus 4. Find the length, the width, and the height. Meaning, solve for W, because if we find W, then we can substitute it in and find all those things. So here we go. We know volume is length times width times height, right? So I know the length is 36 minus W, times I know the width is W, times the height, which is W plus 4. Equals the volume, which they told me was 4,608. Solve for W. Now, just like before, we're going to use the zero product property, and this is factored, but guess what it's not equal to? 0. That's a problem. So if I want to get this thing equal to 0, I'm going to subtract this, but if this is in factored form, can I really subtract it from anything? No. So this is one of those problems where we're going to have to multiply this out, subtract this over, and then factor it back again. Multiplying this out, 2 at a time, people. You cannot do all 3 at a time. So I'm just going to pick the first 2, and I'm going to multiply. So if I just have a W, we're going to distribute. So this is going to give me 36W minus W squared. Put that back in parentheses, drop down your W plus 4 equals 4608. Okay, now keep with our multiplying. Now you have a binomial and a binomial, so we're going to distribute. So 36W times W is 36W squared. 36W times 4, and again, I have to grab my calculator for this. I'm going to use my phone. 36 times 4 is 144. So plus 144W. Negative W squared times W is negative W cubed. And then negative W squared times 4 is negative 4W squared equals 4608. Okay, at this point, I'm going to do a couple things. First of all, I'm going to write this thing in standard form. Second of all, I'm going to combine like terms. So I've got a negative W cubed. Then I'm going to combine 36W squared minus a 4W squared. So plus 32W squared. And then I have a positive 144W equals 4608. Now we finally have that in standard form, so let's get it equal to 0. Subtract your 4608. And I don't think that can actually subtract from anything because I don't have any constants. So now we're looking at negative W cubed plus 32W squared plus 144W minus 4608 equals 0. Awesome. But now we have to factor because we're trying to solve for W. And we need the zero product property, so we need this thing equal to 0. Okay, step 1. Greatest common factor? No. Leading term positive? No. So I'm first of all going to take out a negative 1. And when I do it, instead of factoring it out, I'm just going to divide it off the whole equation, including this side, so that I don't have to keep track of it. So this is just going to be a w cubed minus 32w squared minus 144w plus 4608. And if I divide by a negative over here, I'm still working with a 0. Factoring this, it has 4 terms, so I'm going to go straight to grouping. First 2, I can factor out a w squared. And then I'm going to have a w minus 32. Now, second 2, oh, these are huge. But what I'm looking at is I'm looking at this first set of parentheses that just has a w. So I'm really hoping that in order to get a w here, I would have to take out a negative 144. And I'm really hoping that works. So negative 144 would leave me with a positive w. Minus, I'm going to grab my calculator and make sure this works. So I'm going to take 4608 divided by 144, and yep, it gets me 32. And it's a positive over a negative, so negative 32 equals 0. Then both of my parentheses are the same, so I'm going to take out a w minus 32. Record your w minus 32. And then what's left over? W squared minus 144 equals 0. And that looks beautiful. But, anybody catch the but? I don't think we're done. W times W, 12 times 12. And it's subtraction. So, W plus 12, W minus 12. That is a difference of squares. Bring down your W minus 32 equals 0. Now, I think we're finally fully factored. But again, we're trying to find the dimensions of a terrarium. That doesn't look like dimensions of a terrarium to me. It looks like factors. So, 0 product property. W minus 32 equals 0. W plus 12 equals 0. W minus 12 equals 0. Add 32 on the first one. Oh, sorry. So W equals 32. Minus 12. W equals negative 12. Add 12. W equals 12. Now we have 3 solutions. Great. Which one can you automatically throw out if we're talking about the width of a terrarium? Negative 12. The width of a terrarium cannot be a negative number. So now we're working with a 32 or 12. So I'm going to go back up. Is the width 32 or is the width 12? Or could it be both? I don't know. Well, let's see. If the width is 32, I would put a 32 here. I would also put 32 here, and I would also put a 32 here, which means my width would be 32, my length would be 4, and my height would be 36. Is this okay? No. It says right here, the length has to be more than 10 inches. Is the length 10 inches? No. If the width is 32, then the length is only 4. So that will not work given the qualifications that we were given. So if I go down here, no. So let's go try 12. If it's 12, okay, then the width would be 12 inches. This would be 36 minus 12 inches, which would be 24 inches. And this would be, what did we say, 12 plus 4, which is 16 inches. Is the length more than 10? Yeah, because it's 24. So there's our answer. Your length is 24 inches, your width is 12 inches, and your height is 16 inches. And what number should you get if you take 24 times 12 times 16? And you better get this one, which you do. Try it. Grab your calculator. Take 24 times 12 times 16, and you get 4,608.